our remote attendee. We will move on.
One second.
Recording in progress.
Good.
I'll start.
All right. I don't. Can you mute yourself?
I will.
Call the public session to order then. Please stand for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I will turn it over to the superintendent to call for the presentations as listed in the agenda.
Very good. Give me just 1 second. Okay, our first presentation this evening will be on the comprehensive guidance plan. I'll turn it over to Mr. Stack.
Hey, good evening, to our Board of Education members. At this time, I'd like to welcome our school counselors that worked so fantastically this summer on putting together comprehensive guidance. So, follow Joanne Lombardo School, Laura Palmieri School, Mary Brady High School, and then it's more support that it's certainly there, but so I just want to say the comprehensive guidance plan is really been something that we're very excited to present to the board on because it was interrupted multiple times by COVID, and we're pleased to present a final product, which is in your red folders in front of you. So I welcome you to take a look at those. A lot of time and effort put in by the team here, not only for the presentation, but also those folders. So at this point in time, I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Lombardo to kind of get us started. Thank you. Presentation. So,
thank you. So I wanted to start out by explaining the mission and the philosophy of the student support services teams throughout the district. That includes not only school counselors, but also social workers, school psychologists. We did previously have a mission statement, but we updated it for the purpose of the comprehensive counseling plan because we wanted to highlight the importance of the mental health literacy, which is something new that the state has put into effect. And we also wanted to highlight the fact that we're all working towards the same common goal, which is preparing our students to be responsible. So you're probably all wondering what is a comprehensive school counseling plan. It's basically a document that encapsulates everything that we as student support services personnel do throughout the day and throughout the year. This is a data-driven plan. It allows us to work with our students and show stakeholders such as yourselves, community members, that we actually have data that supports what we're doing. Why did we create the plan now? We knew this was coming for a very long time. Back in 2004, the American School Counselor Association created its first draft of the National Model on School Counseling. And that kind of became the standard for school districts across the country to emulate and follow. In 2018, New York State's Department of Education requested that school districts, one of its updates for school counseling was that school districts had to create a comprehensive counseling plan and put it in place, including putting it on its website. So we had been kind of working towards that when COVID started. So back in the fall of 2019, pre-COVID, there was a large group of us that attended a series of conferences with Niger, Tennessee Valley Board of OCs. And they helped us sort of start creating an understanding. There were school counselors, school psychologists, social workers, administrators. We even had nurses present. So we started kind of building the framework at that point, and COVID interrupted us. And then this past summer, three of us got together for a series of meetings and finalized.
I am, my part is the elementary, because I work at West Street Elementary School, so, oh, you can all hear me, right? Okay, so anyway, what I decided to do was just make sure that I got in touch with all the elementary counselors and social workers and psychologists and ask them all the things that they do on a daily basis. And along with myself, and then I came up with all the different services. And as all of you know, we do all kinds of individual and group counseling, but we also do character education in all the buildings. We have additional programs. I have a leadership group. I do kids at mine. And so really trying, especially now, to focus on the social emotional, because the kids have been so disconnected, and offering as much as we can in terms of, you know, life skills and communication and all those things that they need now more than ever.
Did you want to talk about high school?
One of our goals, when we were working on the plan, was we wanted it to be a usable document. We looked at a lot of different districts. Some of their documents were very cumbersome. We thought no one will ever look at this. Ours is very user-friendly. It'll be easy for us to update every year, add to, take things away. So we were really pleased with the final document. And in the high school, I was so pleased to see a lot of the programs we're doing, other districts are doing as well. So we just tweaked it and added some of the special programs that we just do here at Wheatfield.
And the final thing to mention on this is that ASCA recommends that school counselors spend the majority of their time on tier 1 services, which are the services that impact all of our students. So when you're looking through the plan, you'll see the breakdown: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 3 is only for 5% of the population. It's things like individual counseling, group counseling. So where we go from here, per NICED, the district needs to establish an advisory council comprised of stakeholders. The council should meet twice a year, and the council will review the comprehensive counseling plan, the data that we collect, provide recommendations, and we also need to put the plan on the district website so that parents or community members can view it as needed. So that's really it, unless you have any questions.
Members? Good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say again, thank you to our counselors that worked so hard over the summer. Over those summer months, you know, it's not just a situation where there's remote counseling or in-person counseling or summer school counseling. There's a lot of work behind the scenes, such as this going on. And I want to thank them for their leadership. It really does help us as a district articulate our CDEP goals, which is the social emotional learning supports of students in our community. So I want to thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is on CPI, Crisis Prevention Intervention Training. Mr. Jeff Hess, I know Mr. Stack will talk a little bit about him, has done a lot of work for us as a district. He's one of our physical education teachers. So, Mr. Stack.
It's my pleasure to present this evening along with Mr. Hess on CPI, to the Board of Education. The Crisis Prevention Institute is something that you're going to,
You're fine, I'm sorry.
become a little bit more familiar with after the presentation, certainly, but it's also, again, part of our rollout this year with our entire professional staff to help us, again, meet and articulate the CDEP goal of social emotional support for our students. So just a couple of quick things about Mr. Hess. This training is very intensive training. Years ago, I had the privilege of being trained in TCI, which is a similar type of program. CPI has a familiar layout somewhat to that. It's very intensive. It required overnight trips, and I appreciate you doing that. I know you have a young family and you put a lot of effort and time into this. Not to mention the fact that he took the bull by the horns and was able to put together virtual presentations as we had to pivot at the start of this school year. We planned to do all of our trainings on the superintendent conference days in person. And as all of you know, that had a little bit of a wrench thrown into it. So I want to thank Mr. Hess before he presents for doing it. And then once you're done, we'd like to present you with something. Thanks, Mr. Hess.
Well, the first thing I want to do is I just want to thank the board and our administration for the ability to train the staff in this. It's something I believe in a lot, and it's something that I think builds a stronger community and builds a stronger philosophy within all of our teachers. We're dealing with students that have crisis moments. They're not here, but I'd like to thank the technology department too, because as we pivoted to all virtual, they were more than happy to let me camp out over the summer, right in their office, and kind of work along and sit next to them with every question I had. So I really appreciated that. The verbal de-escalation is what we trained our entire staff on at the beginning of the year this year. We got to everybody virtually, and then I was able really easily to share my telephone number. I was able to just kind of be on call while they were doing it and kind of use my email and stuff to work through it for people. So the idea of our verbal intervention is with our language, help kids as they have times of crisis. As we get into anxiety issues or different disabilities, it's just a way for us to have a common approach. So it's more comfortable for them. When they come to phys ed with me, my responses are going to be the same as when they have their classroom teacher, when they're in art, when they meet with their counselors or speech path. We're all kind of having the same common response when they do have times of crisis or instability. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of the big things that we worked through as a staff. One of the things we talked about, and I'm going to ask if we could play this in a minute, maybe at like a minute 30, was building empathy for our students. I kind of wanted to share this with you guys just because when I first saw it, it meant a lot to me. This was made by an adult with autism just on a trip to the supermarket. So at the beginning is a lot of introduction and just tells you what I just told you. But it's a way for us to build empathy. When we're giving directions to students, whether it be simple math or math or rest their seats, a lot of that information is coming in with tons of other information too. And when it seems like a simple direction for us, it's hard for them to sit it out with everything else that's coming in. So if you wouldn't mind just playing that, maybe like I think it starts at a minute 30. Yeah. If there's sound, there should be sound of it too. It is supposed to be blurry like that. When he walks in the grocery store in the beginning, he can see clearly. And as sounds kind of get picked up from other places, you can see his vision getting obstructed too. Now as he's leaving, less stimulation coming in, he's able to even see more clearly. This was how he sees through his eyes. So we talked a lot with the staff about just kind of trying to understand. I mean, it's nothing I don't think we could ever truly understand without living it, but we worked a lot through that. We could go ahead and skip to the next one. Yep. There you go. This is another huge chunk that they talked about, and this training in total, I think, when we were all said and done, the goal was to hit like 4 to 6 hours. And when we're in person, it's that for sure. And I'm pretty sure it was just about that, right, Mr. Coyne? That was about how long it took, because you took it on your own. Yeah. So it talks a lot about behavior influencing behavior, and this being a two-way street. So as an instructor, when you're getting behaviors that you might not expect or you think are intense, just to remember that that behavior is going to influence your behavior. So it's a way to try to keep a calm, cool head and not let that happen to you. And it goes the other way too, from our staff to our students. And it talks a lot about how our behavior is going to influence theirs too. So if we have a student in crisis who is storming out of our room, chasing behind them is probably going to elevate that. If we're able to walk calmly behind them, use our walkie-talkie to call for support, and kind of greet them in the hall with a calmer presence. Even though your feeling might be you don't want them to leave, you want to run, just kind of getting a calmer approach so it's better for our students. That was just to help our teachers calm if they needed it. Just kind of a peaceful moment if they need it after a crisis. We don't have to play this, but I know you guys have access to it if you want to see it in action. We did some role playing teacher-student where the student would show a behavior and then the teacher as practice would respond to that behavior appropriately. And the next slide is going to show exactly like kind of how we went through. All right, so this is kind of our, this is called the verbal escalation continuum. And it goes, it was made by a baseball coach, actually. So that's why number 1 starts at home plate and number 2 is first base. Students may jump through different levels here, but the next to the number there would be the behavior we are seeing. So a questioning behavior, there's 2 types of questioning behaviors. It could be information seeking or it could be challenging. If we're getting an information seeking question, like why are we doing this? We can provide information. If we're getting a challenging question, we're trying to redirect and refocus like back on the focus of our problem. And there's different levels of behavior there. We go from questioning to refusal to do something to release. And that would be like a crisis situation, throwing of a book or trying to leave the room. Intimidation is on there at number 4. Tension reduction is kind of when the student or any person, it could be a staff member even, calms down and is able to kind of come back to reality a little bit after they've left that emotional part of their brain and they're able to come back. So we went through these intensely and practiced each one, showed the correct response, and then tension reduction is a big one in itself. And our counselors are a big part of that too, kind of restoring dignity and everything when the student comes back. And our last one, like I mentioned earlier, like my big goal for this is hopefully as a staff, we are all trained in this now. So this is a common philosophy that we have and we share, and it's only going to build a stronger community for us. And the way that we respond to our students should be more consistent. As a phys ed teacher, I really appreciate this. When I have a teacher drop a class off, they can tell me a student has been showing release behaviors earlier in the day. I can be ready and I can know, they already have a little bit of anxiety, and just knowing that they're showing that behavior, I can be ready to respond in an appropriate fashion to help that student a little bit more. All right. All right. And thank you guys again. I really appreciate the opportunity to.
Any questions from board members?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
Wait, don't. Go ahead.
Again, I just wanted to thank Mr. Hess for taking, thank you very much for taking the time out to train our entire staff. Thank you to the Board of Education for supporting this initiative. It's going to be something that we look to further and continue with our staff throughout this year on Superintendent Conference Days in the spring, and hopefully again next fall. So this is something we want to remain with the district, something you made possible, Jeff, and we really do appreciate you. And on behalf of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools, we'd like to present you with a certificate of recognition for your hard work and all of the effort that you put into training our staff.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. And, yep, sorry, so last but not least, there are CSEP plans, high school, middle school. Who's going first?
I'll go first. No, can I?
There you go.
I will. One against three. All right, well, thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be here to present what we've been doing at the middle school. What you see, let me see. Do I just push the button?
All right,
The far right.
there you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So you all do have the presentation in front of you. What we have done is, using the same goals that we have for the district, what we're doing at the middle school to meet those goals. So the first goal of the CSEP is the district will continue to cultivate a safe, healthy, and supportive environment. With goal number 2, the district will continue to provide learning experiences that accelerate academic, social, and emotional and physical student learning. And then our 3rd goal, the district will continue to increase engagement in the school community. Some of the artwork that you'll see throughout the presentation are different murals that we have in our building. So I just wanted to highlight some of the great, arts and crafts going on in the middle school. We do very much believe that we always want our students to open their mind before their mouth and just kind of think before they say. So that's a big motto that we've been saying too at the middle school. The next page is just some of the activities and tools, strategies that we're using at the middle school to meet all of our goals. Some of the buildings or programs that you see have been used last year and they are, coming back this year. But the biggest one for the first page is Student of the Month. This has been a very big initiative with the help of our Homeschool Association to recognize at least 8 to 10 of our students monthly, on a monthly basis. And you'll see further in the presentation the display in our front lobby of how we display our students on this display board. These students are given a certificate, a Student of the Month bracelet, a $10 gift card, and then of course, their names are announced and we make a really big to-do about our students at the middle school. We also do things such as, our referral information. Every time we do get a referral for a student, to make sure that we're cultivating that safe, healthy, and supportive environment, we make sure to call every parent and make sure we're speaking to every child and not just disciplining them about the referral, but also then trying to help to correct that behavior and teach them and do a very restorative approach. We also use Suite 360, which is an online character ed digital program, which these online lessons, they can be anywhere from 15 minutes to 40 minutes. And we choose lessons that are directly connected to the students' interaction to, again, teach them and how to help correct this behavior. Things such as the school safety committee, many of those things are ongoing with drills and procedures constantly being practiced with the staff and students. Building school culture. You'll see again throughout the display here things that are just in our building to just make it a very positive and motivational place for all staff and students of wanting to be there. We have a couple wonderful guest speakers coming in the next couple of months. We do have KEDS coming in next month to present to our students about drug and alcohol prevention. The 2 on the following page, the 2 highlighted, those are new presentations that have never been at the middle school before. So we really wanted to kind of highlight new things that are happening this year. So one of them is you're going to have a special agent, Nicholas, from Homeland Security coming in and speaking to our students about digital citizenship and school safety and observance of laws. He will speak to our whole student body on November 23rd. Then we also have an anti-bullying presentation with a professional BMX biker, Matt Wilhelm. He has also been on America's Got Talent and in the Guinness Book of Records. So the students, I know, will have a wonderful time. All of it will be virtual. He is in California. He's not making it on the East Coast for any time presentation soon, but he will be presenting to all of our students on the anti-bullying message. We still have our web program where we have 8th grade leaders meeting and mentoring our 6th graders. Gateway Longview is another company coming into the middle school, which we have them on Wednesdays only. They will be coming, but again, they're a dedicated, another additional therapist to help our students and staff. We have our Falcon Wing program. We have the Nest, which is a student lounge that is up and running. We have the Liberty program. This is another program for our Native American population to specifically have a nice group for themselves. They do a lunch bunch together. They get together almost every day for study hall and to be very supportive for one another. The idea of a calming room. This is something that we see and we recognize a student need for this at the middle school. It's just in the beginning planning stages. but administration, along with our counselors, social workers, school psychologists, we would like to develop this idea of a common room, mostly for all of our students to feel safe and healthy and secure while being at school. The breakfast program is another wonderful program that this year new, it has been delivered to all homerooms. And it has gone from students, 20 students eating breakfast in the past to now almost 450 students eating breakfast every day. So that's an awesome program that we're doing at the middle school. We had our in-school suspension room. We changed the name of it. We just put a little positive spin, and now it's called the ISR room, the Independent Study Room. So again, we're just trying to change things in a positive spin and direction to just let students know we're not here to, we just want to help you grow, develop, and become a wonderful young citizen. The thought of vape detectors, this is something that may be coming also to the middle school. That's again in beginning stages, but it looks like more than likely that will be happening this year. 12 units, there is a diagram attached of where their locations possibly might be in our middle school. The food, clothing, hygiene, caring closet, and then the yearbook cover contest is another wonderful contest for students, very healthy competition that we always want their artwork. Below you see a couple other things there that are in the middle school. I'll move quickly because I don't want to take up all the time, but moving on to goal 2, this is where the district will continue to provide the academic and social emotional student learning. Again, just talking with faculty and staff, having those open student class meetings, having monthly character education assemblies. That's, teaching students outside of the classroom very valuable lessons and morals. Every month touches upon a different middle school topic that is very important to them and their families. One of the big programs that we're very, very proud of is our after-school tutoring program. It just started this past Monday. Today is day 3. And so far we have 59 families involved in this after-school tutoring program, which is fantastic. We have 13 teachers on board, and it's a program that runs Monday through Thursday from 2:30 to 4, and any student can stay after for whatever help they need. So the teachers are absolutely wonderful, jump right on board, and just happy to see that we're helping 59 more families in need. Teachers continue to daily plan and collaborate each day, talking about student data, analyzing, revisiting their scope and sequence curriculum maps, analyzing results, and seeing what can they do in a collaborative fashion to be better for their students. We did add 4 additional Ais specialists to our building. So we have at this point 2 specialists at every level, helping to academically support students during the day. That's an excellent quote. We had one of our art teachers, she just painted this mural on the bottom right. Some kids are smarter than you, some kids have cooler clothes than you, some kids are better at sports than you. It doesn't matter. You have your thing too. Be the kid who will get along, be the kid who is generous, be the kid who is happy for others, be the kid who does the right thing, be the nice kid. So those are just things that we're constantly instilling in our students. And the last goal, engaging student school community. One of the big things is that we have 15 clubs up and running. This is even more clubs than pre-COVID, but they're up and running. With those 15 clubs, there are 24 teachers that are club advisors. So again, the middle school staff is just remarkable and just wanting to do whatever they can to meet the needs of all of our students. 2 of the newest clubs that have never been created in middle school are, the one is the Gay Straight Alliance Club, okay, and the second one is the Arts and Crafts Club. Those are 2 new clubs, making a total of 17 clubs now at the middle school. All those clubs meet once to twice a month, and they are developed based on what our student needs are. Every 10 weeks, we do have our student achievement grids filled out by our teachers. Teachers are constantly making phone calls home. Not only negative phone calls, but those very positive phone calls celebrating academic success. Our HSA is a wonderful, very supportive group at the middle school. Oh, are you doing? And you can see there some of the things that they do for us throughout the year. Our musical production this year at the middle school is Moana, and that has already started their auditions through February. And finally, some of the parent engagement activities. We have incoming 6th grade parent orientation. We have a nice virtual orientation for students who have never stepped before foot in our building, open house, and a few dances scheduled. Beyond that in the packet are just some things that you'll see throughout the middle school. Pictures of what our student lounge looks like. Students, this lounge is open for students 5 periods, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they earn Falcon Wings to go in there with a peer of theirs. And this is just something that even our 8th graders are so excited to get in and play and be with their friends. Any questions for me and what we're doing at the middle school?
Board members, any questions? Thank you, Kelly.
Wonderful, thank you all so much. Thank you.
Our high school elementary.
Good evening, everyone. If you have a chance, and I brought these, I put these on the table for everybody. If you look at goal number 1, I will say that there are a couple of things we probably left off. And I think one of the biggest things was the fact that everybody was so happy to be back full in person. The difference that makes in a building when the building is full rather than feeling like a ghost town, and the engagement that exists between teachers and students goes a long way to address the goal of being a healthy and supportive environment. I neglected to put that on there, but it's just it's an observation that I thought you should be aware of. And the other thing that we didn't put on is certainly all the information about the guidance plan. That goes a long way to addressing this goal in particular. But as you look at the things we listed, they aren't that dissimilar from middle school. You got ours, Ryan?
Yep.
For goal 1, certainly the COVID planning is a big piece. Wearing the masks, all the social distancing, the screening we do at the door, all the signage that exists about the proper way to wear a mask. All those things are reinforced daily. Hopefully not only through our signage, but from the conversation teachers have with students and what Matt and Lindsay and I do when we see students and teachers in the hallway. Our school safety, most of our drills this year have been unplanned, which is kind of a good thing. It demonstrates our readiness for either fire drill or a lockdown drill or shelter in place. So those things have been going very well. And by the way,
Just for the record, we have not had a lockdown. Shelter in place.
what's that?
Just for the record, we have not had a lockdown.
We have not hit a lockdown.
We've
No.
all been very aware of that. No, I mean, seriously. But we've had shelter in place.
We've had 3 shelter in places. And our average time for fire drill from the time that the alarm is pulled until we finish our security checks and turn the alarm off, we're running at 3 minutes and 11 seconds to empty 1,100 students from the building. And I think that's pretty quick. Our school culture, if you've walked the hall, you've seen some of the signage. Lindsay spent a lot of time working with a couple different vendors to get some motivational things on our wall to clean up and make our place a little bit brighter. It's certainly been noticed not only by faculty and students, but visitors to the building as well. Past graduates come through and see things that they've never seen before. So, that certainly adds to that supportive environment. The high school, like the middle school, is having somebody from the Department of Homeland Security come in and do a presentation for our students about, internet safety, phone safety. The presentation will be done for each of our 4 grades, an assembly for each of the 4 grades, as well as for the faculty. So that's a faculty meeting as well. The Family Resource Center, I can't tell you how much of what that does for us at the high school. The fact that Mrs. Kirk, with her connections to so many different agencies and the support that we get from those folks, And just her intimate knowledge of who they are, of what they do, and what they can provide has certainly helped all of our kids. From students that maybe don't have things that they need at home, to students that for some whatever reason fractured rule here, and there's a consequence assigned to it that we can get support and counseling for to assist them. That's been a tremendous help. The Niger County, we have Niger County approved guest speakers that are coming into our health classes. Certainly addressing mental health, reproductive health, drugs, alcohol, addiction, all those things that you would want a high school student to experience through a health class. We've been fortunate this year to add a school counselor. That's helped a lot to lighten the load on members of our counseling department, addressing some of the needs of special education students and counseling that's mandated on their IEPs. With Mrs. Kirk moving from our social worker position to the Family Resource Center, we've had a replacement for her. So the types of support we're getting from that social emotional side has certainly increased from what we've had in the past. Our school safety, our safety compliance officer, it comes from BOCES. He's here once a week. He's a valuable resource when we have conversations, especially, I'll be very honest, one of the things that we're going to be talking about soon is our exit from the building down by the H-wing. We're currently in the parking lot in an area where there may be emergency vehicles, and we need to find another place to quickly exit the building and remove students from that hazard should there be an emergency vehicle that comes through. Where we go now is a necessity in the past, but maybe going forward, we're going to find something better for that. Okay. Matt and Lindsay are going to share in the presentation, and Matt's going to take care of goal 2.
All right, so goal number 2, providing learning experiences that accelerate academic, social, emotional, and physical student learning. This goal was really important, especially for us this year, getting all of our students to come back into school in person every day. I think it's huge. You can definitely see now the difference that piece makes. So we're really excited to have them all back. Obviously, it presents some unique challenges. So there's a lot of investment in helping our students get back to whatever this new normal is and to bring them back to a better spot before they even left. So obviously, we have some emphasis in our opening faculty meetings going through with the staff so we can prepare them so they can prepare our students. Next thing is our opening student class meetings. These were important. A lot of kids had a lot of questions about what does school do? A lot of parents had questions. How does it work? What are we supposed to do? What can I wear? What can't I wear? What about this mask? What about vaccines? We went through tons and tons of questions to make sure we had all the best answers so our students were informed to help them enter back into school. Freshman new student orientation, and kind of put new students in there too, because we didn't just have freshmen, we had people who maybe have never stepped foot in this building that were able to come through, one-to-one walk through with our counselors, be able to see the high school for the first time, maybe as a sophomore or even a junior. So we were really excited to have that opportunity. Team meetings, we really emphasized this year that communication is more important than ever, especially with so much going on. This year is unlike any other. We want to be able to have meetings that are very timely, that are effective, that are beneficial for all members of our community. So being able to meet with every group of people separately is really important to us. So having that opportunity, we really value that. Content area department meetings, obviously we want our departments to be able to have the opportunity to meet and to plan collaboratively. So they are provided with those times. We do still offer full continuum of special ed program services. And I think more so than ever, you're seeing a lot of unique maybe referrals, a lot of people saying, well, maybe is this special ed? So we're working really tightly with our special ed department to make sure that not only are we referring and having the appropriate students there, but we're doing it in the proper and fair manner for all students.
I wanted to jump in for a second and talk about Regents exams coming up in January in our local midterms. When we sat down and thought about our students' performance, we realized that 75% of the students in our building have never sat for a Regents exam. COVID last year, COVID the year before, we haven't had those types of experiences for our students. So the regular Regents exams, retakes for the most part, with the exception of the English 11, we'll provide those Regents exams. But in all of our core content areas, we're going to be providing a midterm exam in the same way we would conduct a Regents exam. Our hope is that from that experience, our students are better prepared for June because they've never had that opportunity before. And obviously, when we're finished and teachers have the opportunity to do all their scoring and correcting, they'll be able to compare data with one another, other teachers that teach the same course. So we have a good handle not only on student performance, but what our teachers can do to enhance that performance to prepare for the end of the year.
So the other thing, obviously, we want to make sure we focus on is our professional development, and we've been working really hard with various programs and various agencies, especially Orleans Niger BOCES, Erie One BOCES, having those planned opportunities in the school day where we don't even have to send our teachers off to have the training. They come to us, we provide that service here. They're able to step out of their class for a few hours, learn how to do this new skill or new strategy that works best. So we're really excited to do that. Also having, some of the support for technology. I think it's huge for our technology department. They jumped probably 5 years in ability in a matter of a year and a half. So they've been awesome and supportive of all of our teachers whenever we ask for help. They're right there to assist us. So we're really grateful for that. Obviously, ongoing CPR certifications, crisis intervention, like we talked earlier today. We have the Department of Homeland Security coming in. So there's a lot of unique trainings that may have never actually happened before, or at least not to this quantity. And we're really excited to have that opportunity.
This year, we're very fortunate to add 3 full-time teachers to provide academic intervention support for our students at the high school. We do have a bevy of special education teachers that push into classrooms to provide consultant services, but the academic intervention service has been lacking a little bit. With the addition of these 3 teachers, we're hoping to catch those students that need the support. And we're implementing it in a little different way. I know that the middle school has something similar, but they're doing a lot of push into classrooms. We're trying something that's old, but new to here, where we created a learning center. We have our English, social studies, and science AIS teachers located in the library. They're there every period of the day. Students can self-identify themselves for assistance. The AIS teachers have met with all the core academic teachers and shared with them what they are doing, inviting students to come in. Teachers can refer students there. The AIS teachers can review progress reports and report cards and go find the student and say, you need to be with me. We're going to help remediate some things. We're going to help elevate your performance. We're going to help you be more successful in the course. And of course, our guidance counselors can also refer students to our Learning Center teachers. To this point, again, we just finished 5 weeks. They're reviewing those progress reports, but it's been very well attended up to this point. It's become a comfortable place to learn. It's very non-threatening. And it's unique to see a student that maybe needs some help, but is a little hesitant to go, but will take a friend to go with them. And then that friend ends up getting assistance in a content area that maybe they didn't think they would ever want some help in. So it's been a very positive experience for our kids. We're hoping to grow it so it becomes a very integral component of what we do, knowing that, for the past year and a half, academic things have been pretty difficult for students. We're trying to get over that hump so our students, again, can be successful in the classroom.
On that note too, we also had the opportunity over summer to kind of look at where our students really needed the help and some of the things that were really beneficial for them. So we were actually kind of able to shift a lot of our resources into the far end of the building. So not only is the library located there, our study halls are down there, the student learning centers down there, the counseling center or the career centers down there. So when a student has a free period or when they have something, that's just study hall, or if they have in the cafeteria, they could all just head down in one direction and it's all in one spot. So really a central hub for our students to get a lot of those resources. Another thing is our Ais program. Obviously, we still emphasize our students and our academic success. When the student is struggling, we still want to be able to identify that student and figure out ways we can help them out, whether that's referring them through special education after we've done an extensive level of intervention, or maybe it's just meeting and talking about some new strategies that new people have figured out that work well, and we help that student out. So we still have that full continuum running. We also still have our Career Path Academy program. So it's a huge after school event that we have every single Monday through Thursday, and our students are able to find a high level of success in graduating where they typically might not from the day school because it's not the right fit for them, whether it's socially, emotionally, there's a lot of reasons, we help kids get caught up on their academics. So we do see some great success in that program as well. And the last thing we have for this section is our Aaip program. It's after school, 2:30 at the end of the day. Our students are able to come in. They're able to receive instruction instead of receiving a home tutor. They're able to come after school, get bused here, get bused home. So we thank the transportation department for helping to make that happen. And we're able to help our students not get further behind if they're out for discipline. So Mrs. Turner's up next.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to see you all again. Goal number 3, to continue to increase engagement in the school community. So like the gentlemen have said, we were just super excited to hit the ground running this year with full capacity, being in the hallways, the hustle, the bustle, the hearing the kids laugh, all that. It's been really, really exciting. Absolutely for the secondary level. We do have a couple new clubs this year that we're very excited about that we were able to use some of the grant funding for. We have physical education intramurals, so we have lots of student athletes in the building, which is wonderful. We were able to get approved some intramurals, so maybe some of our athletes that might not be on a sports team but want to get involved in physical activity. So we're happy that it's up and running, and those programs are going to go throughout the whole year. We just got a photography club. It's going to start next week, so very excited about that. The students are extremely excited to be able to go to events, take photos, learn more about photography. Lots of fun stuff there. We are starting a songwriting club. This is very new to the building, so lots of exciting stuff coming our way. Board game club, and then we also are going to have after-school tutoring as well, Monday through Thursday. And we have the opportunity to work with some of the Honor Society kids, some students that need hours, and they're going to be working with Mr. O'Brien and helping tutor one of the days, and the other 3 days will be our academic learning center teachers staying after. So Monday through Thursday, our students will also have the opportunity to stay after school for extra help. So that's a great program that we will be beginning in 2 weeks. Freshman orientation was a huge success this year. I know Mr. White already spoke about that. We are having a Native American Spirit Week this year. That will be November 15th to the 19th, and the Native American Liaison and our Council of Students are going to put that on. We are happy to announce our musical will also be back, so more information to come, but our musical department is very on top of this and ready to go. So I know the students are very excited to have this back. Our concerts are ready to go. The dates are listed there. So our first one will be just in a couple of weeks. Pavis and the Children's Theater is back. The Career Center has tons of events planned. We're even allowed to bring guest speakers back in, college visits, things like that. Obviously, everything, all the COVID protocol will be followed. But again, very, very exciting for the students to be able to sit down with the colleges and ask those questions in person as opposed to virtual like the last couple of years. We were able to have our homecoming week. It was awesome. Being a future Falcon 15 years ago and back now, it was really, really fun to see everything from the hallway decorating to even the fact that we were able to have a dance. I know a lot of nearby districts were not able to do that with COVID. We thought outside the box with the help of student council, class advisors. So lots of people helping to assist us, but the event was in the courtyard. We had a giant tent. It was awesome to see something like that be able to happen. And I think it was very exciting with it being outside. We are going to have a holiday spirit week. Very excited. I already have my Christmas tree dress in case anybody was wondering. So lots of excitement with the holidays coming up and all the fun events that we are going to do there. We are also working on beautification of the building. That's definitely been a little bit of a passion of mine. So hopefully you'll notice our quotes throughout the building, lots of our Falcon symbols, and the front of the building, all the glass is going to become tinted within the next few months. So we're very, very pumped about that. Add some school spirit as you walk in the building. Google Classrooms, our teachers have those up and running. So if we have students that are out on quarantines or students that are out on medicals, it is very, very nice to be able to use some of the almost negatives of COVID where we had to be forced to adapt quickly, but we could carry that on to more traditional school this year and have that as an option for our students. So that's been great. After that is a list of our clubs that we were able to offer again this year. National Honor Society is up and running. Outdoor Club is very excited to be back. They have lots of events that are planned, so we're ready to go there. Senior Class, lots of fun events that they have planned. Interact Club. They're doing everything from the Adopt-A-Tree to the nursing home, the collaboration with the Friendship, and they're doing an event that they're collaborating with students in South Africa, so I'm very excited for this one. And where that will go. The next one for the season of giving, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this, and I'm again very excited to be back in the building and seeing this because this is an event when I was here a long time ago. I remember how amazing it was. So it's wonderful that all these years later it's still happening. Mr. Aaip Program and everything that he does around the season of givings, everything from the Christmas trees in the front hallway to the food drive, the Coats for Kids, Adopt a Tree, the 12 Days of Giving, Adopt a Family. So those posters are all already around the building. Lots of students are talking about it. Lots of clubs, organizations that are already getting involved in that. So very exciting to help all of our families near and far. NWHS parent engagement activities. We had an open house that's going to be open. It was open to 8th and 9th graders. Mr. White spoke about our freshman orientation. So that was a huge success. And then we're going to continue those things for obviously our future incoming freshmen for next year. Any questions, comments?
Board members, anyone have any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And just a reminder, at our next meeting, we will have the elementary come and present their season plans. What's really exciting is the work in both buildings that all of our staff administrators have done to make those resources, those federal stimulus funds useful and a reality and something that really benefit our kids. And you saw a lot of that tied into some of the programming. So great job.
All right, continuing with the agenda, we will now have the privilege of the floor. Laura, you're up.
I'm actually just curious because before school started this year, there was Mr. Myers, who's not here tonight,
wanted to draft a letter regarding the mask mandate to Governor Hochul. And I just wanted a quick update on that, if anything has progressed with that, or, just, I'm not sure exactly, just to give parents a choice, students a choice. I'm not sure if there's any kind, like I said, any kind of progression with that. If there has been, did she contact the district back? And I'm just looking for a little bit of an update on that, that's all.
All right, consensus agenda items, I call for motion to accept the consensus agenda as submitted.
I'll make the motion. I'll start with it.
Then move to second it. You separate or you discuss?
All those in favor, then please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed,
Opposed,
abstaining,
motion carries.
All right,
Personnel items,
I'd like to call for a motion to accept the personnel report as submitted. I will second it. Items to separate. Number one. Any other items separated to discuss? All right, all those in favor then of accepting items 2 through 15, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, motion carries. I'll turn it over to the superintendent for item 1.
Thank you. It's very exciting tonight to be recommending to you Mrs. Eleanor Payne as the next principal of Edwardtown Middle School. Mrs. Payne's in the back there, standing. I just want to talk to you a little bit about Mrs. Payne. First, let me say this. We had some very qualified candidates for this position. And in the end, it was very clear to us that the best person for our district was Mrs. Payne. And she comes to us with significant experience at the middle school level, which is one of our top priorities. For the last 7 years, she's been a principal in the Silver Creek Central School District. Her supervisor, when I spoke to him on the phone, didn't let me finish, and he just said, no. I think it was about that many no's. Absolutely not wanting to lose her. Colleagues who have worked alongside her have talked about her collaborative nature, the way that she works with kids and families. She has experience in data-driven instruction, which is certainly something that I think will benefit our teams at the middle school. I do want to point out too that we had 2 separate committees that Mrs. Payne met with, and both felt the same way about the skill sets that she could offer our district. And so we're really excited about her being part of our administrative team. I'm very excited about her taking on the leadership role at Edwardtown Middle School. One of the things that she knows and she heard from all of us was that we have a incredible staff there, families, students, and that she'll fit in perfectly with that group. And she'll find a lot of support and she'll be able to provide a lot of support. So we're really excited about that. I just want to make mention that some of the members of the committee are also here tonight. Some of you for different reasons, but others I know because you want to be here to support our incoming principal. So with that, I will turn it back over to the board.
I'd like to call for vote then to accept the superintendent's recommendation that Eleanor Payne be appointed as the principal of Evertown Middle School effective November 29th. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those abstaining, motion carries. Congratulations and welcome to the public.
You can certainly say a few words if you'd like.
The two interview committees, it was something that felt right. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm excited to be on Alpha. Thank you.
All right, moving on to standing committees, capital project committee.
Yes, we had our meeting on Monday. We kind of went over everything that, where we're at. I think last thing we're cleaning up is Colonial Village, the roofing. We did go over some of the other items that we're looking forward until the next year that are in the pipeline. But we are having a meeting on 29th, right? 29th, be our next capital project meeting. That's where we're gonna start talking about future projects. So I know we're still looking for somebody to get on the committee in the community. Greatly appreciated. We're, like I say, it's gonna be something new that we're looking to do for the school. So if there's anybody out there that wants to join our capital project committee, greatly appreciated.
I think we're definitely looking for one more volunteer. We did get Mr. Jeff Hazley, who is currently the president of the NW High School Music Parents Group, who is willing to participate. I just got something from him. I think it was today.
You don't need another one?
We could use one more. That's right. And the other one we have on board is John Shear.
All right, policy committee. Do you feel like reading your own policies today? Okay. Okay, call for motion. Actually, we have, it's coming from the same committee. A call for a vote on policy 3221, the use of service animals. Policy 6150, the alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and other substances for staff. And policy 7320, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and other substances for students. This is the second reading of those. All those in favor of accepting the second reading, please say aye. Aye. Those abstaining, motion carries.
I would like to say, I believe we are still looking for a community member as well for our policy committee. So if you're ready to join us, we're a fun bunch, better than the capital project group. So, put the word out.
I don't know how to take that because I don't know.
Since we're looking for people, we're also needing someone for the audit.
Okay.
One more for audit committee.
Audit also, yeah. Yep. All right. Ex officio student members.
Mike. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, I think it's just great to have everybody back and such a positive environment and now things kind of set of normalcy.
Great.
You good? Excellent. All right, president's report, just something that obviously came up just within the past day. As we know that there's now a change in the open meetings law that we have to have documents and items posted to the website 24 hours in advance. It's any supporting document that goes with any action item that's on there. So because of that, all board members, if you have an item that you want to bring up at the board meeting that needs any supporting documents or anything like that, you have to get stuff to us now at least 72 hours in advance so we can get this stuff together for it. So please be aware of that. No more items that we can be just sort of like brought on that day. Also, going along with that piece, NYSBA is now also recommending that we update our board policies for, obviously we started talking about last meeting was just the virtual meeting piece. Other thing is to update policies about, members with regards to meetings and stuff. So we need to review at the policy committee level our current policies in the district policy manual and update them as needed.
We're gonna have a meeting in 2 weeks.
Okay. I can tell you not in the past 11 years.
Wait, when you say that, the open meeting policy, you mean?
No, the board policies for the conduct of the board.
I get it, I'm sorry. Gotcha.
You're okay.
Gotcha.
It hasn't been touched in 11 years, I know that.
So those listening, there's certain policies that speak specifically to the board, and they're referring to those policies. There hasn't been any changes in. Many of our other policies are always changing and regularly changing.
Correct.
So I just.
Correct. It's just a policy that directly relates to the board. So.
Understood.
All right. All right. Superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, we have on October 30th, the Eco Campus Revitalization Project. It was scheduled to happen last weekend. As you know, Friday into Saturday, the weather was less than friendly. So we moved that to October 30th. Rain or shine, obviously, if there's lightning, we have to make a change, but as of right now, 8 o'clock to 11 a.m. We have plenty of things for high school, middle school students, families who want to engage to do during that event, and we're pretty excited. Actually, now Mr. Kramer's back there. He's actually the chair of that part of our CDEP committee. So, thank you. I've said this now maybe 4 or 5 meetings in a row. We are still pushing very hard for equitable funding for native schools on native lands. Our Tuscarora Elementary School is in, the building itself is in very poor shape. And it is New York State's responsibility based on treaty, okay, to fix that building. To put it in perspective, over the last 7 years, 6 years plus, we've spent about $55 million on our other buildings. New York State spent less than $200,000 on that building. It's clearly an incredible inequity. Bricks are literally falling out of the building. We continue to push. We're getting a lot of support, I will tell you this, from legislators throughout the state. In our region here, we won't stop pushing until we know that it's part of the executive budget or the legislative budget. Okay, and we're really hoping letters have gone to Governor Hochul from numerous people. We're hoping, including legislators, we're hoping that it starts there, because if the money is in the executive budget, the likelihood of it being in the overall budget is far greater than if the legislature, for those of you who know how funding works in New York State, far greater than if the legislature has to try to introduce that funding later on in the process. Okay. The 3 districts that are impacted by this in New York State, us being one of them, are looking for $20 million in this first year to upgrade these buildings, to upgrade our building. Each district's looking for that amount to start, $20 million. Okay, that's how bad a shape the district's in, okay, the buildings, excuse me, in our district. The next meeting, I mentioned that we have a CSEP presentation on elementary, from the elementary buildings. We will also have a presentation on social emotional recognition of the Family Support Center by Kara Kirk, and you heard some talk about, I know the high school talked about the early impact already of the Family Support Center for our students and families. I think it's pretty incredible that it's having that impact. I we shared at one of the other board meetings, we brought up the webpage, the resources are there for families. They're very easy to get to, very user friendly. Okay. We're just reminder, NISBA conference is coming up. Those that are partaking, just if you need dates, if you need reminders, Maureen can send something out, but you're getting them through NISBA as well. Bob already mentioned about the capital project committee. Okay, here's an important one. National Fuel, currently, they have an easement on our property, and they're looking to expand that a little bit for an anode. And we don't see any issues with it. We've asked the questions already about, if in the future we had to run a new road or driveway over that section, would it be impactful? Could we still do it? We could still do it. Everything that we'd want to do with that particular part of the property in the future, we'd be able to do. There's a one-time payment that they would pay to us. There's a one-time payment for use. It's small, very small, for use. But I have no issue with them doing this. They already have a footprint on our property. This would just be expanding. Okay. That's about this. I want to say 1250, 1250, something like that. So I just want to let you know that we're going to move forward with that, just in case you hear anything. This week is a really important week. We'll celebrate it at our next board meeting and prior to our next board meeting, but this week is Board of Education Recognition Week. And no more than the last couple of years do individuals who choose to volunteer their time to take on the role of members of the Board of Education. In no time do they deserve more credit than what they've had to work through the last couple of years. As a matter of fact, it's been really unusual for new members who have joined the board, because initially, if they joined last year, they saw all of us virtually until we got back to being in person and trying to learn and pick things up that way. It's so much more difficult. So every person who's sitting here that's a board member, they're elected, they choose to do it. They do it because they care about kids. I feel very fortunate, and I think our employees and students should feel very fortunate that they put kids first. There's so many issues out there, but what they care about in the end is what they do best for kids. And it makes me very proud to do my job every day. And quite frankly, makes it a lot easier for me to do my job every day, because they care about kids the way that they do. So I have one question for the board. You can send me something later. It can be anonymous if you'd like. Chili or pulled pork. I have a really good pulled pork recipe for the next week, or chili.
What does Rachel feel like making?
Rachel will not make, I will make the food. So you'll just need to let me know that on the side, but we'll have dinner at the next meeting, just to say thank you. Transportation. One of the issues that all of you have certainly seen, Western New York, the nation, dealing with is the shortage on bus drivers. Okay. Right now, our district may be doing a little better than some. We're making it, but we're still short drivers. So we're always looking for drivers. We're always looking for ways to entice drivers, to keep drivers here, to find better ways to train our drivers, to pay for some of the trainings once they get on board. Our goal is to really make this a place that drivers want to be. And there's a lot of competition out there, and I understand that. But we're going to continue to look at different ways, even through negotiations and all those things, ways to make sure that we can do well by getting drivers to come to our district and stay here.
Can I interject on that?
Oh, yeah.
So Dan and I had a conversation about that over the past couple of days, and I'd like to put it on because I will not be here at the next board meeting. have our banquet that night, so you have the helms that night. But for the meeting on the 17th, if you could have something together, so some ideas and that you want to present to the board about how to entice, keep, and make competitive, the more competitive, our ability to keep bus drivers, if we could have that for the 17th.
Sounds great. That's like going back to the chili or pulled pork. We should probably move that to the 17th, shouldn't we?
I don't want Rachel to, have to cook that late.
Yeah, we'll do it the 17th.
Yeah.
That seems right.
Michael finish it.
The NW Hall and Wall of Fame is coming up. It is November 6th. It's an exciting event. Last year, we did not have the opportunity to honor the inductees, so we will do that this year. So we'll be honoring 2 classes of inductees on November 6th this year. And so that should be very exciting. Last but not least, if you're here all the time, you hear me say this at the end of every meeting, food, lunches, breakfast, free in all our schools. That's until June of 2022. Who knows what it'll be like after that. I just do want to mention this. Just to put it in perspective, last year at our middle school, we had about 17 kids on average taking breakfast each day. Now we're somewhere around high 400s, 500. Okay. And you know that many of those students certainly would have benefited from it in the past, but the way that we're doing it this year seems to certainly be working. So compliments to the food service department for looking at and working with the building to work on some creative ways. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions, Superintendent, on this report? All right. Reports to the board, the finance report for insurance.
Yeah, I just wanted to review some of our insurance coverage. I met with our new representative from Niger. You may all remember Greg Hawk passed away in May, so we were assigned a person representative for Niger. His name's John Brady, and I met with him last week. We currently have an umbrella liability policy in the amount of $10 million coverage. And he recommended that we raise that, mostly due to the increased exposure that's going on for all entities due to recent events. So after talking with him a little bit, I questioned our current general liability. We currently have a general liability with a deductible of $2,500 per event. And just so you know, today, I had asked, over the last 5 years, over the last 6 years, what our claims were. So over the last 6 years, we've had 11 general liability claims, totaling payouts of just over $276,000. But those 11 claims would have had a $2,500 deductible on each of them over the past 6 years. So 9 of them are closed too, so there's only 2 that are still open. But if we raise the deductible to $5,000 per event, we would save enough to apply that to increase the savings would be just over $5,000 annually. And to increase for $1 million in additional umbrella liability, it costs about $999. So we'd be able to increase our umbrella liability to $15 million with a 0% increase in cost to the district just by shifting that a little bit. And knowing after, discussing it with him and his recommendation, I would recommend that the district do that as well, that we increase the deductible on property liability, the general liability, to $5,000 per event. That would give us an additional $5 million in umbrella coverage, bringing the total to $15 million for the district.
You take it to go on the next agenda, or are you looking for a motion today?
Well, we could put it on the next agenda. We should do that.
We'd have to put it on the next
Yeah,
agenda.
especially after yesterday.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because there will be supporting
That's right.
documentation that go with it.
That's
so.
right. That's right.
You know, comfortable with 15 million?
Well, Allison, is that your recommendation?
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, we're really increasing the 5%. Right? So it's a big jump, but it's a good one.
Okay, items for board discussion? Anything from anyone? All right, any old business at this time? Right, new business. I'd like to call for a motion to be it resolved, the Board of Education, having considered the October 19th, 2021 appeal of the October 4th, 2021 written decision of the superintendent of schools, hereby sustains that decision and denies the appeal. I'll move that. Is there a second? It's been seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those abstaining, motion carries. Any other new business this time? All right, public comments of any item, of anything that's been discussed at the meeting tonight? Board member comments? All right, I just want to, again, welcome Eleanor to the district, and, you know, it's going to be, we feel it's a phenomenal place. And especially that building, it's a great building, and has a lot of rich history, so thank you again for taking on the helms of that building, and you know, in about a month, we'll see you start here. So, in answer to your question about the letter back from her, the letter that was brought to the board was not moved to the board by that member, so there was nothing sent out. So, any other board member comments at this time?
Yeah, I have a few. Just for all the committees, all the presentations this evening. Great job. There's a lot, I can tell, there's a lot of work went into all of those. Very student-centered, looking for the best results for our students, putting programs in place for them and getting them back to some sense of normal. Just good for kids. And of course, I'll welcome Homer, the staff here, and we feel and enjoy your time here. Look forward to great things, and good luck.
I've noticed that just this term you presented in your CSEP presentation there. Yes, I've noticed a lot more decorations and, you know, artful things coming out. You might want to consider life-size cardboard set, you know, cutouts of the superintendent, you know, spread throughout there too. Oh, that would be entertaining.
Yeah.
Good. I like that. All right. If there's no other item that I'd like to call for a motion to adjourn. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those abstaining, motion carries. We're adjourned.